What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, now you guys will believe it. The huge, big update that undefeated, newly crowned 3-belt unified welterweight world champion, superstar boxer who is widely considered by many to be top 2, if not number 1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr., who is 28 wins, no losses, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach at 32 years of age. Will be taking on undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the number 1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, superstar boxer Terence Crawford, who Terence Crawford is 38 wins, no losses, no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. So now ESPN is reporting what I already told you, but now you guys will believe it. Now ESPN is reporting that Terence Crawford and Errol Spence will be fighting in Las Vegas, October. Now, this is what I told you. I initially told you guys that Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight was going to possibly take place. The date they wanted to target was September. Okay, September 17th, but they weren't unsure what 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer, who currently is the undisputed super middleweight world champion and widely considered the face of the sport of boxing, in Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is now 57 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout, 31 years of age, 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. He's considered top 5, top 3 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world. He's considered the face of the sport of boxing, and that's Mexican Independence Day weekend, okay? So the date that Canelo Alvarez is going to fight on is unknown, okay? Because Canelo Alvarez, he was going into this fight with undefeated WBA light heavyweight world champion, Russian superstar boxer Dmitry Bivol. And what date Canelo Alvarez, he usually fights on Cinco de Mayo weekend, okay? And Canelo Alvarez usually fights on Mexican Independence Day weekend. So that's the second weekend or the third Saturday, second or third Saturday in September, which falls on September 17th. Okay. Now, like I told you guys, that date is historic. Why? Especially for the welterweight division, because you had Oscar De La Hoya take on Felix Tito Trinidad, okay, September 18th. And that date also marks one of the biggest dates in the sport of boxing history for undisputed in the welterweight division, when you had 2 legendary, iconic Hall of Fame superstar boxers in Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas the Hitman Hearns fight September 16th, 1981. Okay, so that's 4 Hall of Famers: Tito Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hitman Hearns. They fought on September 16th and September 18th. Well, September 17th falls smack dead in the middle, and this is considered the biggest fight in the sport of boxing and one of the biggest fights in welterweight history for undisputed. Now, when Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns, they fought, there was only 2 belts. There was the WBC and the WBA for undisputed. Well, now there's never been a 4 major sanctioned unified, undisputed, lineal welterweight world champion. So history will be made when this fight takes place. And why not look to have it on one of those on that date, the 17th, in reminiscent of the biggest welterweight fight in the history, which was Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard, 1981. And Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya was nothing to seize at, and in their fight, okay? So those mark the dates, right? So those are the dates they would have loved to have. But again, Canelo Alvarez is considered the face of the sport of boxing, and do you want to compete with Canelo Alvarez? Although this is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing currently today as it stands, in my opinion and many opinion, okay? 95% of the boxing world believes this is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing currently as it stands. And so those were the dates. But now Canelo Alvarez is going to fight his trilogy with 2-time unified middleweight world champion, superstar boxer Gennady Triple G Golovkin, September 17th, okay? So since they're going to fight September 17th, you don't want to compete with Canelo Alvarez. Although, again, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence is a bigger fight than Triple G and Canelo Alvarez, but why compete with Canelo Alvarez, who at one point in time, he was fighting on DAZN. This fight is going to be on DAZN, but DAZN wasn't a pay-per-view format. Now DAZN is a pay-per-view format. So with that said, now this fight is going to be on pay-per-view. So it looks like they're going to give it at least a month, okay? So it looks like October 15th is going to be the date, possibly October 22nd for Terence Crawford, Errol Spence in Las Vegas, okay? So again, after that date was taken, I told you guys that they're more than likely going to fight in October, okay? I told you guys that if they didn't have the fight in September, it was going to take place in October. So now everybody will believe it because what ESPN has reported it. When I tell you, you don't believe me. You need to see proof. You need to see receipts. But now ESPN is telling you that the date is October and it's going to be in Las Vegas. Now everybody will believe it, okay? So like I said, they wanted that September date because it's a historic time. It's a historic date. But with that said, the fight itself, I'm just glad that we're on the verge of getting the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. I'm glad that it's finally coming to fruition, okay? And I'm glad that, we get a resolution, right? And I know many people are starting to talk about how many fights is going to be, how many fights are going to come of it. Is it going to be a 2-fight deal, 3-fight deal, rematch clause? I don't know if it's going to be a rematch clause because, for one, Errol Spence has, expressed that he's ready to move up to junior welterweight, junior middleweight, 154, super welterweight, 154, and so has Terence Crawford. And I believe that Terence Crawford, should he beat Errol Spence, I think he wants to secure that fight with now newly crowned undisputed junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer Jamel Lyons Only Charlo, to become 3-division champion. He already stated, if I become a 3-division undisputed champion, those are some mega big shoes to fill. And I believe at that point in time, Terence Crawford would call it a career. So I don't know if they're going to be a rematch clause, especially not at 147. I don't believe that either guy has any interest in competing at 147 anymore moving forward. I think that they both are in a place where they want to graduate and move up in weight. They both, Errol Spence is 32. Terence Crawford will be 35 by the time this fight happens. He'll be 35 in September. So I don't believe that either guy is, comfortable or in the mindset of making 147 anymore. This is, again, a huge ordeal. This is a huge fight for the sport of boxing. This has been building up for the better part of 2 years now, and the fan base, I think, is happening at the exact right time, at the perfect time. Okay. I don't think it's overcooked. I don't think it's undercooked. I don't think it's oversold. I don't think it's undersold. I think it's perfect. I think the timing, obviously Terence Crawford, last time he fought was November 20th of 2021. Okay. So by the time this fight happens, he would almost be out the ring again for a year. He fought once in 2020, once in 2021, and now he's on the verge of only fighting once in 2022, okay? And he'll be 35 years of age, and Father Time is undefeated. I don't like that he's inactive going into this fight. But again, Terence Crawford is somebody that's always in shape. He's somebody that's always focused. He don't need, any added motivation. The fight of this magnitude itself is motivation for Terence Crawford. So with that said, I love this fight. I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Terence Crawford, he was asked, about the fight taking place in Dallas. We know Errol Spence, he just sold out Cowboys, AT&T Dallas Cowboys Stadium in Dallas, Arlington, Texas. And, it was upwards of 40,000 people in the arena. He did a massive live gate, big fight, unification bout with your Danish Ugas. We know he's a major draw. We know he's a pound for pound fighter, but Terence Crawford said, no, the fight got to happen in a neutral site. This is when he was on the Porterweight podcast with 2-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Showtime Sean Porter. So with that said, you're finally on the verge of getting what everybody wants. Okay. And again, to me, it's the perfect time. I thought that, the situation with Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, It was a huge fight revenue-wise, but it just didn't live up to the billing inside the ring. This fight is going to live up to the billing inside the ring, and I absolutely can't wait to see how it unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, and get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like your shady videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.